So you mentioned Brighton. They had a 3-3 draw with Liverpool. That's who I want to talk about. Klopp said that this is something that they've got to fight through, this form that we're seeing from them, or lack of form. Is it that, or is it deeper than that?
I think it's, I've always said it, a softer spot here for me to some degree, that it has been, because, you've given the stats early. You may have to remind me how many goals they've conceded, early. And it's not just, it's not just the number of goals there, but I remember of all those goals that they've conceded, I think there's like 5 or 6 where they go behind in the first 5 minutes of it. Never mind,
Right.
they concede consistently for a number of games now. So that goes to lack of intensity, and that also goes to.
But let me throw in, just because you mentioned it, because that's where I was going to go with it. But obviously, we've got the Kevin De Bruyne or Haaland understanding here, Janusz. Our producer's been putting the work in. He said Liverpool has not come back to win at Anfield after trailing by multiple goals in any competition since 2016. So you wonder if they've forgotten how to actually start football matches.
I always think that it's psychological. This is down to Jurgen Klopp. He's got to find a way, because the one thing you have as a manager is the last few minutes before players go on the pitch. After that is players' games. And obviously somebody's going to pay for that. The consequences are going to be there. But this is a time, if I look at a manager, Jurgen Klopp, and how many times have we been here singing his praises? When it doesn't work, you have to point that out, right? Because remember, they are no longer the mentality monsters. He was talking about the mentality, coming back late in the games, putting pressure. Remember, what was Liverpool the best at? They basically often decided the matches in the first 5, 10, 15 minutes of the game. If you couldn't in those games deal with the pressure of Liverpool, it was done and dusted after 15 minutes for the most part. And if you somehow found a way back in the game, well, Liverpool was there for you as well as those mentality monsters in the last 5, 6 minutes or stoppage time. That's not happening. That means that maybe the intensity is not there. Maybe psychologically these players are burned out somehow. I know people laugh when we say that, but we've seen that from teams. And I'm not going to sit here and say that cycle has ended, but part of the cycle has ended. He's got to find a way to get these players to understand, is like, look, you want to be like Manchester City? Every year, nothing changes. Yes, they get players like Haaland, yeah, but they somehow don't change the mentality of treating every game like it was a final. And that's not what's happening. So I think Jurgen Klopp has to take the responsibility for that, because I'm sure he's talked to the players, and it's not getting through them. It really isn't. You can't have Brighton coming into Anfield, early lead, but remember, I mean, there was a couple, like 3 chances before they even score, or after the first goal, where they, it could have been 3, 4, 5-0. Well, maybe 5-0. I'm going too far, but could have been done and dusted way before that. So I think there is a real issue here in Jurgen Klopp getting to his team in terms of psychology more so than talent. The talent's there, and you will see them putting that run together. But right now, come on, let's be honest. When you look at Liverpool, and I know they've come back from bigger deficits in the past. They had games in hands, which they don't really now, not in a manner like they did before. But you'd be hard-pressed to convince me right now that Liverpool has a chance of winning the title. I know it's early.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.